Hey YouTube, this time I will be reviewing the Staedtler Mars Micro 775 mechanical pencil in 0.5 millimeter. This was a pencil that was sent to me from overseas as a gift from a benefactor, and I'm kind of actually surprised that I haven't reviewed or used the Mars Micro before, because I've heard about it and I've heard many people reference it and I've seen it in stores, but eggs on my face, I had never understood the fact that it was a retractable lead sleeve pencil. And retractable sleeves tend to be a feature that I look for. And not all of my mechanical pencils have retractable sleeves. I'm not sold on them entirely, but they definitely are convenient. And from the perspective of an educator, I've spoken before about how retractable sleeve is very, very useful to me, because I can't jam a fixed sleeve pencil into my shirt pocket while I'm walking around a classroom and not expect to get holes in my shirt. And so retractable pencils can be really useful in that regard. Now, when you look at the Mars Micro, at first inspection, it's just like any other drafting pencil. And I guess the closest pencil that I would liken it to is probably the Pentel Graph Gear 1000, which is a pencil that, I'd encourage you to check out. It's not my favorite. It's not in my top 10. It's not an honorable mention, but it's definitely worth checking out because it is ubiquitous in the United States, very easy to obtain. The Staedtler Mars Micro is another example of a retractable drafting pencil, and there are quite a reasons why I like the Staedtler better than the Graph Gear 1000. And they're both retractable lead sleeve pencils. They both offer interesting grips, and they both have very solid pocket clips, and they both have very basic drafting erasers. I think that if we just get a quick comparison going here, I think that the Mars Micro has a thicker eraser than the Graph Gear 1000, but the Graph Gear 1000 is usually equipped, not this one that I bought. This is a cheaper Graph Gear 1000 that I bought. If you buy Graph Gear 1000s in big box stores, they tend to come with really tiny erasers. But if you buy Graph Gear 1000s from Japan, they're more likely to come with a really decent sized long eraser. The eraser for the Mars Micro is just as short as the eraser for the Graph Gear 1000, but it is a little bit thicker, and so I would definitely rate that as a strength over the Graph Gear if you're planning on doing some erasing, because that thicker eraser will usually give you a lot more control over what's happening. And we'll test out the eraser here in a second. For the actual lead sleeve, you need to push down really hard to get the lead sleeve to come out and lock into position. So if I press really hard, it extends all the way, and once it extends all the way, you're free to use the pencil as you normally would. It is a push-top ratchet mechanism. There's hardly any click sound at all when you click the top of the Mars Micro. And that's really interesting. I think it's a solid mechanism. I would prefer a satisfying clip. Or click, I should say. But if you look at the tip of the Mars Micro, you'll notice that there's this little orange part in between where the lead sleeve comes out and the actual lead sleeve. And that's a really nice design feature. That is like a cushioning O-ring that prevents play in the lead sleeve once this is extended. And that's an example of an issue that is true for a lot of retractable mechanical pencils. When you extend the lead sleeve on them, they have a little bit of play in them. But I do not detect a lot of play on the Mars Micro when I am writing with it. The grip, it's not bad. You have a brushed either steel or aluminum. I think that it's probably aluminum tip to the pencil, and then you have a slightly textured rubberized grip. I grip my pencils really low, and so the grip on this one is not that functional for me. I think that if you're a person who holds a pencil high up when they're writing, this grip might be preferable to you. But even if you do, it's not very well textured compared to a lot of grips. And so grips might be a con for you. As I said, pocket clip is strong. Let's try erasing with the eraser. There's no play in the eraser. It's very solidly docked in there. And so this is just a very solidly constructed mechanical pencil, and I can see why a lot of people like it. It's not going to make my top 10, unfortunately. I think that based upon what I've seen in my top 10, I don't really feel comfortable getting the Staedtler on there. Largely because of the grip. Let me just run down really quick my rating scale. Forgot to do that. Writing experience, I'm going to give it a good. It's not the best writing experience that I've ever had as a result of that grip, but it is still very solid. Quality, I'm going to give it a good. It has that strong retraction mechanism. It has solid plastic part. Even though the parts are plastic, they're solid. The erasing is solid. We have this nice cushioning feature for the lead sleeve that prevents play in the mechanism. And so with the eraser the way it is, you know, maybe I go good plus on this one. I wouldn't call it great because it's not all metal construction, but it's still very solidly constructed. Features, I'm going to give it a good. It has that solid retractable sleeve and the strong pocket clip, but as a result of the eraser, it's not going to get as high of the top mark that I would tend to give them. And price is cheap. It's 10 USD at retail, which for retail prices, that's half the price of a Graph Gear 1000. If you're looking for a retractable sleeve drafting pencil that is just really solid, I would probably recommend the Mars Micro over the Graph Gear 1000. Just my personal opinion. I know that some people's opinions will vary, but you are entitled to your opinion, so that's okay. So as I said, it's not going to make the top 10, but I am going to give the Mars Micro an honorable mention, and I'm going to bump the Tombow Monograph Shaker off of my honorable mentions list, and that might seem kind of strange because when I got the Tombow Monograph Shaker, I was really smitten with it, and I put it in my top 10, and then I took it off my top 10 and put it in the honorable mentions, and now I'm kicking the Tombow Monograph Shaker off the top 10. And you know, folks, as I'm learning about mechanical pencils and finding some really high quality ones out there, not everything's going to stay in the top 10 or in the honorable mentions. There wouldn't be any point having a list if as I experience new things, I'm not going to change that in some degree. So, my big gripe with the Monograph Shaker is the quality of its construction. It seems to use really, really cheap plastic, but I do recommend it. I do think it's a great pencil, and I do think that if you're a collector, it should definitely be in your collection. And if you're looking for like something equivalent to the Uni-Kuratoga, but without the lead rotation mechanism, that's probably going to be the most similar thing at that price point. So check out the Monograph Shaker, but I think that Staedtler Mars Micro is a more appropriate pencil for my honorable mention list. So thanks for watching. I'll continue to post videos about reviews of mechanical pencils, and I hope you enjoy them, and have a great day.